Well, here we are again.
Good morning. How are you? Or afternoon?
Or evening.
Or
We
evening,
can
whatever
make it
time you want to.
Those people out there don't know for sure what time of day it is.
That's
except
true.
We should be consistent, don't you think?
Yeah, probably.
Consistent like this. Move your coffee a minute. Let me show you something.
Oh no, I'm afraid. Oh my God! All
Do you
this
know what
junk
that
mail.
is? 2 days worth.
Oh, this is nothing for me.
Do you get
I've
this
got
much in a day?
bags full. My shredder actually will stop because it overheats.
Exactly. That's what I want to talk about. This is 2 days worth of junk mail, okay? At the end of a week, it's a pile this high, as you know, as you're just saying, which creates a lot of work because I too shred everything these days because you can't trust anyone because of all the identity theft. That's a very serious problem. It's getting even worse in our country, as we all know. So there's no point in going on and on about identity theft.
Although I do want to talk about that real quick because I
Do,
told my
do.
husband last night, we were watching some identity theft commercial,
Okay.
and I said those people want to pay me to give my identity back to me with the way my credit is.
Well, I'll join that, sister, yeah. But no, this is 1 day's worth. And at the end of a week, we have, as we said, a stack like this. It's a mountain full. Now, because my name is on usually all those pieces of paper, all this junk mail, once in a while it's to the neighbor or this or that occupant. But very often my name is on here. So I either have to mark it out or I shred everything, which has created an additional hour or two a week of work for me. And if you have that much where your shredder even turns off because
Yeah.
it gets overheated,
Right.
how much extra work is that? Not only that, but how many trees could we save?
Exactly.
And then this company, and I don't mind saying the company, it's United of Omaha Life Insurance, I get sometimes 3, 4 a week. A week.
I don't get any of that, but I
Okay.
get plenty of other things.
Send me life insurance because at the rate it's going, I'm getting so aggravated I'm going to have a heart
Well, I
attack.
have a post office box and a home address,
Right.
so I get duplicate
I have the same thing.
of everything that I received in the first box, so
I have the exact same thing, a P.O. box and a home address, so I get both too. But I was thinking on the life insurance, really, they're aggravating me so much, they're going to put me into an early grave. So maybe that's their strategy. Let's aggravate them to death.
it seems pointless and very wasteful, and there's got to be something else to get the message out to people. But then we go into the over full email boxes.
Right. Well,
You
that's
know.
just gotten as bad.
Yeah, that's
That has
gotten just
gotten
as bad.
just as bad. And I keep thinking of the trees.
Yeah.
I mean, we have, so many wonderful forests in this country, and we also have a lot of forest fires where trees
Yeah.
are destroyed. So forests are always being replanted.
Yes.
And we say, well, nature takes care of that stuff. Does it really?
Well,
Okay?
to a degree it can, but
Well,
not
yeah.
at the pace that we deplete it.
Mm.
You know?
Excuse me, very good coffee. Whoever made that coffee today, it's good coffee. Thank you. I'm a coffee connoisseur. Did you know I used to have a little coffee house?
Yes, I did.
To change the subject
Yeah,
completely.
yeah.
And it didn't cut down trees to make that coffee.
That's
It just
true.
planted beans. But I am getting aggravated. If anyone out there has any suggestions about how to stop junk mail, we're ready to hear it, aren't
We
we?
would love to hear about that.
And share it with the rest of our viewers, all of our viewers in the
Well,
future.
yes, all of our many followers out
Thousands
there.
and thousands out there, yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, it would be. We've got to figure it out because I know you and I are not the only
I'm
people
sick of
that
it.
complain about that because
I am
it's
sick of
it's
it.
insane.
Which brings me to another point. When we have daily aggravations that we all do in life, no matter what it may be. We all deal with aggravations. Now, this isn't anything serious like
No.
not having a job or being able to pay our mortgage or being homeless.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
this isn't serious at all. It's one of those little minor hiccups in life.
Yes, yes.
But we have got to find a healthy way to deal with aggravations in life, and you and I've been talking about the art of meditating.
The art of meditating, and also the art of positive thinking,
Right,
but not just the fact that you think positively. It's something that you have to get into a practice of.
correct.
So,
Correct.
because so many times people don't know how to meditate or what the purpose of it is, but mainly is to calm and quiet the mind down.
All right, do you have any suggestions you'd like to share?
I do, and this has really helped me in so many ways, and it helps actually energize me after I've kind of gotten rid of the junk mail in my own head,
Right,
so to speak.
i.e., an
Yeah,
example.
exactly. So what I like to do is when you sit down to meditate, a lot of times people say, I can't shut down the chatter.
Right.
I can't quiet the chatter.
It's actually known as the monkey mind.
Right.
In meditation circles, or those kind of circles, they call that constant chatter the monkey mind. So you want to share with us what you do to still your monkey mind.
Well, and I know a lot of people kind of stop at that point because they're like, I can't do it. The second I sit down, I now have 10 million things I need to do at
Right.
this point.
Right.
So what I try to do is go into deep breath and out, where you're very conscious and very intent with the deep breath,
Of
as
breathing.
deep as you can, and back out.
Okay.
Do that about 10 times. And that sort of will calm you down to a degree. But then if you can't shut down the chatter in the brain, you go into an instant gratitude, which is a great practice to go into anyways.
The attitude of gratitude, which we actually mention quite often
Yes.
on our show. The attitude of gratitude, which is just a better way to live. Yeah.
Exactly. But like anything else, it takes practice,
Correct.
and it takes consciousness of intent of doing that.
The
So
intention.
the intention. So what you do is go into gratitude of everything. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for my home. Thank you for my family. Go to where you can't come up with anything else, and that's
Anything
when
else that's negative.
correct.
Stay positive.
Because
okay?
when those thoughts come in, try to balance it out with a positive thing, but also over talk it,
Okay.
overpower
And smiling. Just smile.
it, or the word
Okay.
thank you.
Or the word thank you is smile. Thank you, and actually the most powerful word that we have to change vibration and change energy in our language is the word love.
Yes, that's
Love.
powerful.
And that doctor, what's his name? That Japanese doctor that came up and showed the differences in water years ago.
Oh, that was amazing.
I can't think of his name, and it's terrible when we bring things up
Right.
and we don't know the exact
Right.
name. But something like Dr. Himusutra, Kominata,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But you can find him. It's not that hard to find him.
Yeah.
But he had studies. He's written books on it. He's shown how it actually works.
Mm-hmm.
He took an ice cube, and not just a ice cube, but many.
Right.
Okay. And this was photographed, actually photographed,
Mm-hmm.
how the words change the energy of any object, of anything. Okay. So in this one, there was hate and anger. And that piece of ice got literally black
Yeah,
inside.
and a putrid.
Yucky. Oh,
Yeah, it was.
it was horrible. It was ugly. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Just plain old ugly. And then he got lesser and lesser degrees, less intensity of that kind of negative energy. It kept lightening it up. And then at the very end, he just had love. He smiled, nicely, and nice smile and that love. And that just radiated like crystals. It looked like beautiful snowflakes, crystals over it. from that point on, they actually had him come and also the power of prayer. He also had the power of prayer in there, where they had him pray and think positive thoughts over waters like lakes, huge lakes that were, contaminated with debris and all kinds of things. He brought in a team of just 10 people, not hundreds, that prayed and thought love over this lake of water, and it completely, in a few days, cleared that water
It's
up.
amazing. And that's a good example for people like most of us that need proof.
Yes.
That need the proof
Show
that
me.
thought, show me,
show me.
that thought actually can manifest into something greater, like we had talked about in our last show.
Exactly.
How
How it creates.
and I had read a book one time on this guy who he was a polygrapher, where it's a lie detector test.
What was it again?
It was a book, and anyways,
Tell
it was
me
about
again.
the power of thought.
Was it a pornographer?
No,
okay.
polygrapher. And what he did was he was sitting in his office and he thought, I wonder if I put this device around a plant to see if the water, when the water reaches this point,
Right.
if it would measure on the scale. And it actually didn't.
It did not.
It did not. But what he did discover was, do plants receive energy like we receive energy, which they've done studies on. And he had the device on the plant, and he's just the thought of, I'm going to light this plant on fire,
Made it react.
and made the plant actually go off the chart.
Right.
So it would do he would do other experiments with not even touching the plant, but just his actual thought. Toward the plant in a negative way or a positive way would make the
Plant react.
Yeah.
Because everything's energy.
Correct.
Every single thing's energy, and we've talked about that before too. But yes, it's life. It's a living thing.
Right.
Even this table is a dead thing, and we've mentioned it even has energy, but especially a living thing.
Right.
Whether it's a plant, a tree, a flower, a human being, an animal, living things. Meditation, however, is kind of hard.
It
takes
is not
years of
easy. It
practice.
takes years of practice, but with practice, you can master it.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall?
And the other thing too,
Sorry.
right?
yeah.
The other thing though is people get too wrapped up in the process of it and wanting to receive this experience. It could take 5 to 10 minutes. It's not something that needs
Right.
to be done like a monk. You don't have to do this for days on end. It's a simple clearing your mind.
Which that's the hard part.
That's the hard part, but that's the point of going into gratitude,
One
getting
of
the negativity out.
Well, one way.
That's one way.
That helps a person meditate is you light a candle. And then you concentrate on that candle flame. And you actually you literally just stare into that candle flame and become one with that flame. And you will see that flame does a dance. You know how flames are, just kind of does a dance, and you just become one with it. That is a very simple and easy way to still the mind.
Okay. I've never tried that before.
Haven't you?
No,
oh,
I
yeah,
haven't.
it is. I learned that years ago. Not that I'm a great meditator. And one of the things that I remember, and I actually pass that on to some of my students, is when you're learning to meditate, and you were talking about stilling the mind, which is very difficult until you get good at it, and you stop that monkey chatter, that monkey mind, is even when you start calming the mind down, there will be thoughts
Yes.
that just, I call them popcorn thoughts, because they're pop, 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 they just pop up. The worst thing you can do is say, I'm not going to think about that.
Right.
I'm not going to think
Right.
about that. Because then that's all you're doing is thinking about it.
That's right.
So I say allow that thought just to flow in but then also watch it flow back out. Let it come in, let it go out, and then continue concentrating on the flame or whatever it is you might be using to help you concentrate. So, have you ever tried letting it flow, though, the thought?
I try to talk over it with my gratitude. That's how I've learned how to quiet it down. And I've gotten to a point, not that I'm this master meditator, but I have gotten to a point where just the act of that deep breath,
Right.
that
the
first
breathing.
deep breath and out, I can go right into one.
And another good way to breathe, actually, it's supposedly the proper way to breathe is just the opposite of what we all breathe. When we inhale, we go, and exhale, we kind of let our little tummies go out with it, okay? Just the reverse is the proper way to breathe. When you inhale, you let that tummy relax and kind of go out, and with exhale, with every breath that you exhale, you pull the abdomen in.
Okay.
Have you ever tried that?
Yeah, I have.
And how do you feel afterward?
I feel good. I feel good.
Re-energized? Energized.
Re-energized, but also just the conscious act of, or the real intent, the intent, concentration act of the breathing. When you focus on just the act of the breathing, you shut down the chatter in your brain.
And, we've learned a lot. Of course, we're still learning in this country. We're a young country.
Yeah.
There are,
Yeah, we are.
Practices that have been practiced in other cultures for thousands and thousands of years. And they know something.
Yes.
We're just
Right.
picking some things up. But you were talking about the monks. Well, one of the things that chanting does is help you do that.
Right.
If you have a particular chant, which is repetitive, a chant is saying something repeatedly.
Right, right.
And a person can make up their own little ditty, whatever it is you want to do.
Or
and
even
then
like
by chanting it, even like love, 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 raises that vibration, but it also does not allow you to have any other thought in your mind.
Right,
Okay?
right.
That kind of a
Right.
thing. The
Or
word
even
om.
Right, om, or just humming.
Oh,
Just just because it's hard. Do you feel like it's hard to do two things at once, like humming and thinking?
chewing gum and walking.
Right,
Yeah, same
but to
time.
keep your mind, that chatter
Right,
going if you
right.
had something else going on.
Well, what that does, when you mentioned the humming or the chanting, just go ahead and hum a few bars again. Okay. What do you notice?
A vibration, a vibrating.
It's a vibration of, let's do a show next week on chakras.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of our viewers know about chakras, but there are probably quite a few that don't.
Right, and it's something I am not real clear on yet, so
They're
I'd like
energy
to.
centers in the body.
Right,
But when you
but what's its
hum,
purpose?
we'll get
Yeah,
into that.
yeah,
okay?
exactly.
When you hum like that, what you're doing, you said you noticed the vibration. You're 100% correct. But the vibration of up in here and here and here, which are all upper chakra centers
Okay.
to help you reach that higher vibration, to bring you up a few notches,
Right.
okay?
And that's probably why when you only do 5 minutes or 10 minutes that you actually feel lighter. You feel more energetic when you get rid of
That energy.
the energy in the junk mail.
That's pulling you down.
Yeah, all that.
And I love when you said the junk mail in your mind.
Yeah, the
'cause
junk mail in your mind.
That's right on, Onea.
Well, it's a good visual.
That's what we're talking
That's what
about.
we're talking
girl. Yeah,
about.
it's a real good visual, absolutely.
But-
So what else is going on?
Well, it's now summer, and the weather is gorgeous. We were complaining the last couple of shows at how cold it was and the wind, and there's a little bit of wind still, but
Not bad.
not bad.
Not bad. It's actually very lovely. But when we talk about summer, I always think of School's Out for the Summer.
Right.
What a great old song. It never
Yeah,
gets old.
no, never,
does it?
never.
Especially one of our local boys, whose name I can't think of right now, who did School's Out for the Summer. My God.
I don't know.
He lives right down there in Paradise Valley. Do you know Tawny?
Alice Cooper?
Alice Cooper, Ed. How could I forget? I've gone to all of his, well, not all, but for the last 10, 11 years, I've gone to all of his concerts that are called pudding concerts because it's a mixture of talent.
Okay.
And it always ends with the whole entire audience, thousands of people singing "School's Out for the Summer."
Awesome.
Which, doesn't matter if you're in a wheelchair or if you're young.
Right.
We can all still relate to it.
Yeah, and everybody knows that song, yeah.
But yeah, our weather's been great. We can't complain.
And then we've got the 4th of July rodeo days coming up and the parades, and it's
Are we inviting everybody up to Prescott, Arizona?
And I'm sure they've got
oldest rodeo in the country.
Yeah. They sure know when to come because it's packed every year.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's a nice place to be.
But it is. It's advertised anyway as the oldest rodeo in the country.
Right.
It's been going on for, well, however long we've been here and rodeos have been here.
Right, exactly.
But it's fun. It's a fun time. It's not as much fun as it used to be. Do you remember when they used to have the water gun fights?
Yes,
off the back
water
of
balloon
trucks?
fights, yeah.
And water guns. They had
Right.
water balloons, water guns. What it was is people would ride in the back of their pickup trucks and just throw water balloons at each other or water guns. And it was just a lot of fun. Everybody, the viewers, the bystanders were part of the parade. And as what happens quite often is somebody ruined it by having put a rock in one of
rock
those,
or ice or something.
in
Yeah.
one of those balloons and threw it at somebody, and the city did away with it.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Well, it's too bad
because it was a nice tradition.
And
It
I
was
like
something,
traditions.
yeah, and it was something people look forward to, and yeah, that's
We're becoming a tradition.
yes, we are.
We are in your household. We hope it is a local tradition, but we have a good time here, and we're very serious when we say anybody who has not come to Prescott, Arizona to enjoy our rodeo and 4th of July holiday time, come on down. It's one big party for a week.
Yeah,
A solid week.
for a
It's
solid
good
week.
time.
Yeah,
And our weather is beautiful. I don't think you're going to find any better anywhere in the country.
no.
So
not
besides
really.
junk mail, and we are asking if anybody does know how you can stop that, please let us know.
Yeah.
We'd be grateful.
Yeah,
And the art of meditation,
the art of meditation.
which
It's just
takes practice.
takes practice,
So thirsty
and
today.
it's just a good way to start your day. And it's a good way to start the momentum for your day and also the people around you.
Okay. I always heard, which I also liked, is that prayer is asking. Most people pray
Right.
asking for something like, oh, dear God, get me out of this. Okay?
Right, right.
But prayer is asking, and meditation is the art of learning to listen to hear the answer.
Yes, that's
Because
the
it's
difference.
that inside voice, that inner voice. So I think both.
Yeah, and that's a good point because a lot of times we pray for things that are not necessarily good for our situation. And meditation, you receive a message or the stillness, like you say, and
That
wait
inner voice.
that inner voice, and you wait for the blessings that are good due to you.
Well,
Or
don't you feel that inner voice is the proper communication? That
Oh, yeah.
That's what guides
If
you
you're truly
properly.
listening.
Yes.
if you're truly listening.
If you keep the head out of it.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
brain. That brain
Exactly.
that lied to you every time.
And
okay?
those are the difference between praying and meditating, and they're both very important, I think. But the difference of the two is receiving and asking. I feel.
And when you said learning to tell the difference,
Yes.
because that head will take over, the emotions take over.
Yes, and the ego.
And the ego.
That's
the hardest.
huge.
You're
Yeah.
so right. That ego is the hardest to still, to quiet down of everything.
Right.
It takes over. The ego
Right.
runs you. Power tripping,
Fear.
control, the fear
Fear.
of it all. That's so right. So I think we're on to some good stuff, though. When we've talked about positive thinking, the power of thought,
Yes.
the creative energy, I think you even brought up one time that self-talk.
The self-talk,
The
yeah.
self-talk being so important, what it does to us. I think at least we have a conscious awareness of what's healthy for us and what is not. And as long as we keep sharing that
Right.
information. But I've got to tell you something. Have you noticed the latest women's fashions in dresses? Like, talk show hosts, people on TV.
I honestly don't watch enough of that stuff in the morning because I work during the day. So
Well, I've been just paying attention, just really even in the last week. Boring. Back in the 60s, they all had those simple little shift dresses, all sleeveless, all the round little neckline. I'm so old, I had home ec in school. Did you
Well,
ever
I
know
had
that?
home ec
Did
too,
you?
so.
Okay. I don't feel so bad then. But one of our home ec sewing projects was making one of those dresses, okay?
Right.
And I know our first lady brought the sleeveless dress back into style because she's got nice arms.
Right.
A lot of us don't.
No.
But all of a sudden, they're all wearing just these little round necks, straight little dresses, sleeveless. Boring.
It's a cycle.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, it's a cycle.
Thank goodness.
It'll
I'm ready
cycle
to
out
get
soon.
back into tie-dye myself. Not quite, but at least it wasn't boring.
Right,
And
right.
then all they can do with that is just change the color.
Right.
That's
true.
Onea, girlfriend, let's make a deal that we will never wear one of those boring little dresses on our show.
I don't even think we have that in our wardrobe, do we?
I don't think it's in our personality.
No, not at all.
That's
what
what I'm
we're talking about.